Okay, we should be going live any moment. So we're gonna wait for people to get the notification, and we're gonna start. Please give us a thumbs up in the chat if the audio is fine. Mike, say something to check the audio levels.
Hey, world. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. So we're not gonna do any fancy intros today, just because I'd rather do a live stream than postpone it to next week and next week, just because I failed to figure out the intro. But
I'm missing your normal intro. I'm missing that one because it actually pumps me up and gets me excited for the live stream. Like right now, I'm like really sleepy. So we might have to do dining with Ding here in like 2 minutes because I need energy.
Okay.
But that intro song just really pumps me up and gets me excited for the live stream.
Talking about songs, today I'm gonna play a new song for everyone as soon as we get a little bit deeper in the stream. I'm hearing some feedback that audio is all good. Yeah, we're gonna wait for a few more people to come in, but basically, hello to everyone who's joining in. Nice to see everyone. Please post your questions. As always, we're gonna try and answer as many as possible. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I assume a lot of people will probably be already subscribed, but nice to see everyone. Leave a post in the chat. Let us know how was your week, how was everything, how was last week. I guess this is the start of the week. So what's up, Mike? How are you doing? I saw you yesterday, so pretty much know.
I'm doing pretty good. Happy Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you don't celebrate that there in Lithuania, but here
how
in this
big?
country,
How big is it? How
holiday.
big is it in comparison? So one thing that surprised me a little bit when I moved to States is that New Year's is not as big of a thing as it is in Europe, at least from my experience. I know Thanksgiving is a big one. Independence Day is a big one. Christmas is a big one. Easter is a big one. How big is this? How big is Martin Luther King's Day?
I mean, it's normally the religious holidays are going to be the ones that are celebrated, a little bit more with more people here. There's other holidays that we celebrate here in the country with like President's Day and Labor Day and Memorial Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, those types of days.
Okay. All right, I'm seeing some of our regulars check in. Serpent Dude, this is the first time I have ever shown up for one of these. Well, very much welcome. Welcome to our stream. Hopefully you'll enjoy. Leave our questions, so we're going to try and answer as many as possible. So, we've got a few things to cover today. We're going to talk about our recent recording sessions, about rock series with River City. I'm going to play a brand new single that we're going to be releasing in a couple of days, so you're going to get a sneak preview. It's more or less done. There's a few small adjustments we're going to make in the mix session, but more or less is done. So Michael is going to get to react. He always thinks that all the pop tunes that we post are sounding like something else, so he thought that My Singularity, if you've not seen that tune, check it out on the channel, but one of our original releases, My Singularity, he thought that it sounded like Hotel California. It
did. It totally did. There was another one too. What was the one before that?
Thunder Within.
The Thunder Within. Yeah, I got a vibe from that one too. I can't remember what it was, but it just reminded me of like another pop song that has been released before. But I'm ready to throw some hate at your new release. Only because I'm not on that recording.
Well, should have worked out the schedules a little bit better, but you're gonna be on the next one. I'm seeing Maxwell checking in. Say hi to Maxwell. I'm seeing
Hi,
Ellen checking
Maxwell.
in.
Hey. Oh,
Ellen is
Ellen's here.
here,
Oh, good.
as
Is she
always.
here? Oh, good, good.
Maxwell is saying that he cannot stay here for long, but he's gonna be here for a little bit. Let us know before you leave. I want to play. I'm gonna be giving a
Yeah,
sneak.
you got it. You better play this. You better play the new release for him.
Yeah. So I just didn't want to start with that. I wanted to play that a little bit further in the stream. But let us know when you're about to leave. We're gonna make sure to play that before you leave, even if you leave a little bit earlier. So leave your questions as always. We're gonna try and answer as many as possible. And we're gonna play a tune. We're gonna do Dining with Ding as always. We're gonna talk a little bit about our recent recording session and our upcoming recording session. So me and Mike had a 6-hour long recording session with River City yesterday. So it was fun, very exhausting, and man, do I look forward to coming. I don't know when these. I'm not gonna speculate anymore at this point when the live shows will come back. But it was a lot of fun. It was nice. I always keep on saying that the social environment in River City is quite special. It's for as much serious work we do, it's very everyone's friendly, everyone knows each other, and it's nice. I've been trying to stay away as much from social media as possible. I check in whenever I post, and I just check out, because everyone's I don't feel that all the Facebook and Instagrams and all that social media platform all the social media platforms represents accurately all the people that I'm surrounded with, and it's a lot of craziness happening, and everyone's all the anger content is being promoted a lot on social medias. And yesterday I got to communicate with like real people, and it's like, oh no, that's how it usually works in real world. Everyone's reasonable. There's a variety of different people. Everyone's nice. Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to work. And these are the people I know, and these are the people that at least I know in my world. So now I'm like trying to check out as much as possible from social.
You're such a liar. You were so mean to me yesterday. I just sat in a corner for all 6 hours, and I was just crying the whole time.
I was mean to you. Just because you were playing on trombone rather than euphonium. You betrayed me. You moved to trombone section. So,
that's what they asked me to play.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn down a gig.
No.
I'll play anything. I can't remember who it was. It was maybe Jeff. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was
did he sound awesome yesterday? He sounded he was killing those Beatles.
You don't have to convince me on Jeff, man. You don't have to convince me on him. He's fantastic. Like 100% of the time.
That high stuff, man.
Oh,
Sustained for 6 hours as well.
Yeah, and he was still crushing stuff like at the very end, where I'm like, oh my goodness, my lip. He was crushing it. It was amazing. But I was talking to him, and he was like, oh, you're playing trombone. How did that all work out? I'm like, yeah, I know. They needed me for it, and they didn't need my second euphonium part, so we're gonna play it. And we made a little bit of joke, and he was like, hey, you're sounding pretty good. I'm like, oh, thanks. And he was like, yeah, maybe next time you're going to be playing cornet. And I was like, yeah, put me on like a lower book. I'll do it. I'll play whatever you want me to play.
Yeah, trombone book texture wise, at least the second trombone that you played is probably quite a bit easier than what we have in euphonium. So all the moving lines all the time.
It is easier, which is nice. Because like I can enjoy the experience more, because whenever I'm playing stuff on euphonium, sometimes it's just killer. Even whenever it's the second part, it's killer. So it was nice to do that. But what I'm still trying to get a feel for is that when I play along with you, I try to not overpower what you're doing, because I let you lead the way, and I do my best to try to follow.
Overpowering me.
With what you're doing. No, not that I could, or not that I would, but
no, I'm just joking.
I'm like the supporting role for you. But when I'm playing on that second trombone book, I'm pretty independent with that, and I need to make sure that it's not like I'm supporting you when I'm playing the euphonium, it's like I have to be an equal voice within 3 players. So I'm more used to sort of dialing back and going along with you, for example. So I just have to get more comfortable with playing out a little bit more to make sure I balance those harmonies within the trombone section. So it's a little bit of a learning curve right there to really know like and understand what my role is and being able to match what James needs of me right at that moment. So you'll hear him mention a couple of times like, hey, can you bring that part out more? And it's just like, yeah, I can definitely bring it out more, but I'm still under that feeling of like whenever I'm playing along with you.
Yeah, and it's super important, the fact, even if you don't know the trombone book, it's very important that you know the actual repertoire, because this is clearly nobody knows that. I was about to say for those who don't know that, but how would you know that if you were not in our recording session? So basically the way it works, at least the last couple of recording sessions, the logistics of gathering and finding venues and placing everyone apart at correct distances and setting up microphones makes it very hard to make a high quantity of spread out sessions, whether it's rehearsals or etc. So it's we've been doing these 6-hour long recording sessions, and basically during the recording you kind of get to balance out. So it's no real rehearsals. And we started, these are the rock series. So we started, what was the first piece we recorded? Do you recall that?
Was yesterday?
Yeah. It was one of our tonguing. Oh, old time rock and roll.
Yes. The Bill Haley and its Comets, Rock Around the Clock, and Johnny Be Good.
Yeah. So
those ones. Yep.
So this is how yesterday's session started. So everyone comes in 10 a.m. We start recording session. So I normally show up around like 8:50, 8:45, something like that. Palace Theater, you need to step it up with your heating. I can tell for a nice theater where you have all of these pop stars playing, we come in freezing cold.
Don't be talking junk on the Palace Theater. I love that theater.
I love the theater.
I'm not gonna stand. It was so cold in there. I will agree with you. It was very, very cold, but I think that was a good thing, because I think my lip would have swelled to the size of something crazy.
Please.
It was like we were in a freezer and the swelling was just way down. So maybe that's how I was able to get through.
The Palace Theater is the nicest looking and the best sounding theater from all the regular venues that we play. But man, was it cold. What was it? If you had to guess, 60? Would you say 60?
It might have been even less than that, to be honest with you.
It
might
just,
have been like low 60s or upper 50s.
Yeah. Just envision that playing 10 a.m. Playing all those solos. My tongue is freezing. Fingers are like not working.
Hey, I made a joke too. I made a joke as I was sitting there. I said, man, I was like, to the people who were sitting around, I was like, man, it's really cold in here. You know, you're going to have to push all the way in, but the trumpets are still going to have to pull out on their tuning slides.
Yeah. And it was, but basically they switched on the heating. They forgot to switch on the heating. So like, well, they kind of switched it on. It didn't go up all that much, though.
I was joking too with this. It was so cold, but then they said they turned the heat on, which they might have, but it felt colder whenever they turned the heat on.
No.
And it's probably because it was so cold already and we were frozen and like our nerves couldn't feel like the pain and how cold it was. But since it got a little bit warmer, we sensed like how actually cold it was.
Yeah, so that was a little bit tricky. But other than that, it was so cool seeing everyone playing. Such a different experience. And we used to play on such a frequent basis that you get used to all the volume and a volume of 28 players, and yeah, it takes a little bit of time to adapt, but it was very cool. Like yesterday, it felt like felt pretty good. Everyone was very chill. Everyone was joking. Everyone was playing. It was sounding good. But we were recording. It was a very nice experience. Exhausting, but very nice for. And yeah.
It's a fun show, and we're playing like a bunch of like pop rock tunes and stuff of like the past. And it's not as demanding. So like whenever a concert series is like really demanding,
when you play a second trombone book, so
you're always like on edge, and you need to make sure that everything is what it needs to be. But this, there's decent amount of passages where you could like really sit and enjoy. Like I saw myself like bebopping around there to some of the tunes that we were playing and sort of getting into it with like that. That's like a really enjoyable thing.
Yeah, but the other tunes, we recorded that. Then there was South of the Border. That was pretty cool. It's a compilation of
the Tijuana brass stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. That was very nice. Then it was Earth, Wind, and Fire medley for that.
Chicago. There was some Chicago in
25 to...
Or 6 to 4.
Or 6, yeah. Then what else did we play? I can get no satisfaction. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's Bridge Over Troubled Water, trombone solo for that.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown. One of those early earlier tunes there, not necessarily as recent, but from a while ago. What did we end with? We ended with what?
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
The Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. But 6 hours of recording session. And it's interesting. The first hour and a half or something. I did something.
Oh, we had those Beatles tunes. We had a couple of the Rolling Stones tunes.
Oh, that's nice.
Those
Ruby
Tuesday. Those were some good ones too.
Yeah, Ruby Tuesday. Then Beatles. Yeah. That's very nice. And yeah, for first hour and a half, I was. Because in order for you to be very technical, you have to stay focused with your breathing. There's a difference between good and great breathing and all that kind of stuff. So for first, what I did a day before, I only did a little bit of warm-ups, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna spend too much time warming up that day as well. Just 6 hours of recording. It's a lot of recording. And hour and a half in, I just felt like my technique went. I was just like, whatever. I'm just, and it's not like it goes away, but there's a difference again. What I call a solo playing technique and a band playing technique. So in a band, you get a little bit more physical and less technical, just because you need to match up volumes with euphonium, and it's a part of a gig. You need to be a physical player as well. But when you play a solo, you want to be very technical. You want to do everything least physically and most technically as possible. And like I find that around 1.5 hours in, sitting next to drums, like your ability to concentrate and pay attention to more than just music, just zero. So yeah, but it was a good fun. We're doing another one in a couple weeks. Is it February 7th? Is that when we're doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the date is for that. I'm never brought on until like later on, because I'm like part of like the second call musicians if someone can't make one thing or another. So I'm normally like last minute, like maybe like a week before we have to record, or something like that.
All right. So for those who are joining in, leave your questions in the comment box below. Let us know how your week went. Probably last week, considering it's Monday, or how your Monday was so far. And if you have any questions, we'll try to read and answer as many as possible. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We would really appreciate that. So we're gonna head to questions soon. This month we're gonna be releasing Deep River, and the tune that is gonna be next is gonna be one of our original tunes called Best Days by Ian Mundy. And I'm gonna give everyone a sneak peek. I plan to release it today, but we had small little tweaks that needed to be done, and also the video still needs to be finished editing. But I'm pretty proud of this one. Sounds awesome, and Mike always thinks that all of our pop tunes resemble of something. So we're gonna see if he finds a match to any one of these. So yeah, I'm gonna give everyone a sneak peek today for our third mix. So there's a couple more left to be done, but yeah, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready for this.
Okay. Okay, so this is going to be best. I'm hoping the audio will come through properly because I'm not 100% sure, but it should hopefully come through properly. So today everyone's hearing a little sneak peek of Best Days by Ian Mundy, featuring me on euphonium, of course, and then Drew Fennell on vocals and trumpet, Lucas on trombone. Mike is not in it, but he gets to hear it first. So either way, enjoy.
That you will not find. It will evade you no matter how hard you try. There are those who stumble across it every day. They'll never know just how sweet the water tastes. You can walk the earth, you can open doors, and these will be the best days of your life. If only you could see through the cracks of time. The past is in the past, my friend, the future yet to come, and these will be the best days of your life. Days of your life, the best days.
How about that?
Oh, there wasn't like an ending?
No, that was the ending.
I was waiting for it. I was like, I was waiting for it.
Yeah. What do you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
I had a different song stuck in my head though when I was listening to it. but it was I like that effect in there. I've been noticing it a lot recently. Whenever it sort of gets to that halftime feel, whenever you're getting like the backbeat going, and it's every count 2 and 4, and it's just driving through, and then it just sort of like augments itself and goes to like a halftime feel, and you just get into that groove. That happened like a few times with it. And I'm like, yeah.
It's a nice tuba part going on there. Yeah. I like this one. It's pretty good. I like the lyrics as well.
Yeah, I was getting in the very beginning, and then it went away. But then it came back in the end. I was getting the Bumblebee Tuna song feeling.
What?
The Bumblebee Tuna.
I don't know what a Bumblebee Tuna is. Either way.
If you played it one more time, the first like 20 seconds, everyone in the chat, they'll be like, yeah, it kind of sounds like Bumblebee Tuna. It does.
What is Bumblebee Tuna?
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. Bumblebee Tuna. Bumblebee Tuna. Mm-hmm.
Either way, everyone who's watching, let us know in the chat, what did you think of the song? Did you like it? Did you not? If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you did not like it, give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. How about that deal? So, yeah, the full video will be out. I'm hoping it's not going to be later than next Monday, but I'm hoping to release video either Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday would be tomorrow, and of course the sheet music, backing tracks, and all that stuff will be available on Patreon as always, for those who'd like to join our membership program. But yeah, Bumblebee Tuna, I'll have to double check.
Was there two euphonium parts for that, or just one?
Was one euphonium, and I played. There's a interchangeable. At least tuba part is not boring. That's hilarious.
Ian does a real good job of putting like pretty decent tuba parts in there. Like he has, I've never met Ian before, but he has some pretty good grooves that go in the tuba bass lines for his selections that he came up with. If you haven't checked out any of the other ones on Al's channel that are Ian Mundy pop tunes, go back and check them and listen to them. Look and listen to those tuba parts in there, because there's some pretty cool ones in there.
Pretty awesome. Yep. I saw Ellen send a video today with some funny videos. I need to compile that at some point and
no, there's no use. I'm never gonna laugh at it. Yeah. Never.
Yeah, well, they don't have to laugh. I'll laugh. People can laugh at me laughing and you not laughing. Either way, you're like I need to give you a nickname, a new nickname. Ding sounds like a person who would laugh at stuff and
funny. I laugh at stuff that's funny. Oh, I do.
When you pull off pranks, that's about the only time you laugh.
I'm
wondering how we're gonna do that Irish thing, that Irish washerwoman.
Oh, give me if I get put on that and we have to play that, and that's a thing, I will come up with something hilarious with that.
I'm
with the
pretty
distancing
sure
and stuff like that. I just need to know if I'm booked or not.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if I am, I will come up with something hilarious for
I'm
that.
pretty sure you're playing on trombone that one.
Oh.
Also, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a second euphonium. Now that's interesting. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure from what I know that you should be on second trombone. Either way, we're gonna go answer some of the questions. Hopefully you enjoyed this little tune. And again, it's gonna be released in the upcoming days. We've got a classical tune that is gonna be played. Should I give a little? Another sneak peek, maybe not. Either way, but there's gonna be never mind. I'll keep that a surprise. But the piece is gonna be, it's a beautiful piece called Deep River. Mike, we need to figure out to make sure Mike is on the recording. There's one part missing, which belongs to Mike. Either way, let's head to some of the questions. I'm gonna scroll through some of the email questions and Instagram questions that I've got. Mainly, we're gonna stick with these live ones and see what we've got there. I'm gonna scroll very quickly through the YouTube and Instagram and etc. and emails. Mike, you have anything interesting to share while I'm scrolling? Do you think it would be a good time to do some dining with Ding? What do you think? Is anyone?
You want to do it right? You want to do it right now?
Why not? You said you're
Yeah,
getting
right.
a little. You're
let
getting.
let me mention first.
So.
Let
Da.
me mention first. You can scroll. You scroll and look at questions, and I'll explain how I dine. Okay.
Can I at least hit our D with D?
Well, you do it after I explain.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So every live stream we have a little prize giveaway, so you can win something from Al over there. But if you know me and if you're a frequent visitor, I like to eat treats. So I to make it through these live streams, Al just talks and talks and talks and talks, and I get so hungry listening to him.
It's almost like it's a podcast.
I always have
Go
a
figure.
treat, and if you can guess the correct treat, you win one of the prizes from Al. So I always give hints, but the first hint that I always give is that it's either a candy or it's a type of baked good. So that's the treat that you have. So if you have a guess, whenever I start to give clues, just put it in the chat box right there, and the first person to get it correct wins that prize. Try not to just keep guessing one thing after the other. If we put maybe a guess or two in, and if it's still not correct, then we'll allow some more guesses just to give a handful of people an opportunity to give a guess with it.
Okay.
So go ahead and hit the song, and then I'll give my first official clue.
You ready for D with D? Here we go. Alrighty. So give your first clue. And by the way, whoever guesses that correct, you're gonna get my scale curriculum book. The first person to get it right, I'll send it to you right after the stream. Okay. Give your first clue.
Very famous elves make this delicious cookie.
Okay, very famous elves make this awesome, delicious cookie, so we know it's a cookie. Okay, we're gonna go through some of the questions and we're gonna start giving hints every, let's say, 5 minutes or something. So don't start guessing, because if you start guessing, I'm gonna give everyone like, let's say, 2 or 3 strikes, something like that. Either way. So, comes from Mr. Anonymous. How about that? Mr. Anonymous is asking about whether we have any specific warm-up routines. So, to see my specific warm-up routines, go to my YouTube channel. Just funny because that was commented on YouTube channel. Go to educational video playlist. There's literally at least 3 or maybe 4 videos with my full practice routine, which covers the warm-up as well. So yes, I do have it. It's specific, but it's tailored to me as well. I'll read it through later, Mike. Just give your thoughts on your warm-up routine. How do you warm up?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I always try to cover certain basics before I start to actually play a piece of music. I always do a little bit of free buzzing first. I get the mouthpiece out, do some buzzing exercises there. It could vary to different things, but just the fact of activating your lips in trying to activate and start that buzz is really important before you even put it to the horn. And I see my warm-up exercises as like a tool to sort of diagnose if I'm going to have any issues playing for that practice session. So within the first little bit of time that you're playing, and when I do these certain exercises, I do these exercises for a specific reason and for a specific function of my playing. So I can tell, if today is a day where my tongue is not going to be working for me, or I could tell if I'm going to be off with my partials a little bit, or I might chip certain sounds, or how is my slurring going to be, or how it's going to affect my tone quality. I can sense that by just going through these warm-up exercises. So I think about the basic function. So the first thing, like I said, I'll do some buzzing. buzzing with the mouthpiece, without the mouthpiece. Then I'll go in, I'll get into some long tone exercises. And once again, this can vary from different things. I wouldn't necessarily say I have a strict warm-up routine that I do. I just have strict categories of things that I do for my warm-up. But the exercises could be various things. But to continue on with that is my long tone exercises. So I'll pick certain scales and things like that. I'll start to see how my lower octave of playing is going to be, and do those long tone exercises. And then I start to extend it into the middle of my range. And I'll get a chance for that to listen to how my tone quality is going to sound, how my buzz is working out early on in the practice session, and also how I'll listen as I hold those tones and the long tones to see how my tone quality is going to be. You know, is my lip going to be a little bit fatigued? Am I going to hear like double buzzing taking place? Am I going to hear other frequencies whenever I'm playing? You know, how tired is my lip, you know, for that time? I can sense that as I listen to my sound and my tone.
Fair enough.
I'll also get into lip slur exercises. I'll also get into tonguing exercises, simple tonguing exercises at first. Then I'll get into advanced tonguing exercises like double tonguing and triple tonguing. And that's a pretty good core of, you know, sometimes I'll do breathing exercises as well at the very beginning if I'm noticing a need to do that. So those are some of the categories that I focus on to as part of my warm-up session.
Wow. You're going deep. You're going deep into warm-ups. That's good.
Hey, you asked the question. You asked the question.
I didn't ask the question. Mr. Anonymous did.
You're so nice about it too. You could be like, okay, Mike, shut up. I want to move on to something else. But you're like, you're really nice about getting me to stop.
Okay. It says Keebler's chocolate stripes. Is that it?
No, it is not.
Lagola
those are delicious, though.
Lagola shaped gingerbread man.
No, that is not correct.
Santa cookies?
Not Santa cookies. No.
Okay,
no.
give another hint.
It's January. It's not December. Not Santa cookies.
People keep on mentioning these desserts, and it's like, I don't recognize a single one. It's how?
That's because you just eat shrubs. You just eat shrubs and carrot sticks. You don't eat any treats.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So this will be a really good clue. You might actually get it from this one. This is a pretty solid clue. The Girl Scouts would call these, depending on where you live in the United States, the Girl Scouts would call these either Caramel Delights or Samoas, but the Keebler elves call them something different.
What elves?
The Keebler elves.
Okay, fair enough. Let's start going through some of the chats in the message box. Isaac is asking, what is your favorite piece you have played at River City Brass? Ooh. It's not the first time I'm being asked this question. Celtic stuff is pretty cool. Going Home is cool. Going Home is cool. Time to Say Goodbye is cool. Then Transylvanian.
All the ones that are your specific solo.
Well, if they're asking what's my favorite solo, well, not solo piece, but that is cool. Then Transylvanian Lullaby, that's pretty cool. In terms of band pieces, Frozen. Frozen is a pretty good one. Frozen.
That's a fun one, yeah. That was like a good medley that we had back
Frozen
there. Yeah.
was very nice. Mike, you anything?
You always get mad at me. It's hard to pick a favorite, and I don't have like a favorite because once again, just like with anyone and anything, students, people, anything, I always try to find something like redeeming about each one. There's not really a piece of music that comes by where I'm like, nah, I don't really like this one. So I enjoy a lot of them. I like more of like the Latin kind of pieces. Oh, I mentioned this. The Malagueña. The Malagueña that we play. I love that tune. I love Latin style pieces and Spanish influence, Latin influence pieces. I really enjoy that music quite a bit. Sometimes it's tough to come by on euphonium. You see it a little bit more with trombone when you're maybe doing some Latin jazz or something like that. But yeah, that when we do that River City tune, the Malagueña, I love that piece.
You just like because you get to scream at the beginning. You get to make some funny noises at the beginning. That's the only reason you like it.
No, I just love the style. I just love the tune of the piece. We have a couple of like nice little feature things that are in there that are pretty nice. You know, just the song just builds throughout the entire piece. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay. Wow, that's a long message. I'll have to double check what's up with that. Either way, TRUMPET 14 is asking, I'm doing my first solo for euphonium. How do I get myself to be calm through my solo that I will do in early February? I'm kind of nervous. Well, let's start with some general stuff. So general stuff would be prepare as well as possible, as much as possible. If you're playing that by memory, that's a separate question, but let's assume you're not trying to memorize the solo. So make markings. Make as many, especially if that's your first solo. These are the things you can control. Okay, there's going to be some stuff you cannot control. Maybe you wake up, maybe you're not feeling physically all that well. Not so much control over it. Let's figure out the things you can control first. Let's check those boxes out, and then we'll move on to some of more specific things. But things you can cross out. Put your breath marks everywhere, even the first breath. Put a breath mark. Now, it might sound a little ridiculous. Why would you put a breath mark for the first breath? Try to, your brain does funny stuff with you when you get nervous. And if it's your first solo, you'll never know. Don't go necessarily with attitude, oh, I'm not going to go and get nervous. Expect that you might get a little bit nervous, but always have some ideas of how you're going to try and counter that. So your brain might be doing some funny stuff. You might be forgetting some of your fingerings or etc. So marking as many details on your sheet paper as possible, like breaths, where you're going to be doing dynamics, as many things that will steer you away from thinking about your technique, and as many things that will allow you to think about the music. So those will be preparations for whenever you're playing solo. If you're playing solo with the piano, listen to recordings of the piece so you remember the piano cue, so you don't have to count every single time. So it becomes a little bit more of a simplified process. You want to memorize as many of accompaniment parts as possible. And in terms of getting a little bit of nervous, look, expect that it's gonna be you might get a little bit of butterflies, but it's all about the perceptions. Butterflies might mean excitement and almost like euphoric type of feeling if you have butterflies but everything is going well. So it might be a very pleasant feeling. Or if you get a little bit more nervous, it might not be such a pleasant feeling. So mentally, what you can do why are you laughing, Mike?
No, go ahead.
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just waiting for my turn. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Fair enough. But look, mentally what you can do is just make sure, look, you're the only person who knows whether how much work and how much preparation you did. All the work is being done in the practice room. Nobody expects you to fail. When you're going to be going to perform a solo, everyone expects you and wants you to do as well as possible. So don't look at audience as your friends and somebody who's not necessarily came there to judge you or critique you or evaluate you, but somebody who just wants to enjoy music, not necessarily only your music, but enjoy music with you. So try to have fun. Don't get distracted by looking at the audience, trying to find a neutral spot somewhere in the hall. Those would be musical and psychological things. Make sure you're under control with your breathing. Breathe in slowly. Try to slow everything down. These would be a little bit more technical things. Your mind will be working a little bit faster than normal. So some of the stuff like breathing, You might be thinking you're taking full deep breaths, but in reality, you might not be. Just because your heart rate is a little bit up, slow everything down. This is what you're going to be doing. Just slow everything down, slow everything that happens in your mind, and focus on musical things. Try not to talk to yourself in your head. Switch off your little inner voice as much as possible, and try to focus on just slowing down, breathing slowly, and I'm sure if you put in the work, everything will go smooth, or as smooth as it can go. Mike.
Yeah, you're just such a cold-hearted machine.
Oh.
You're just such a cold-hearted machine with all those technical aspects. Now, I do want to mention something. I do want to piggyback on one thing, but I have a couple of things to add with that. The first thing, and the first thing that I mentioned, I'm just teasing you too. Tonight I'm in a teasing mood, Al. You said some great things. I just like teasing you.
Good that you clarified, because I was about to just cut you off. It's like,
I'm older than you, and I'm teasing you. I'm older than you, and you have to respect me. So
how much older are you?
I can get away with it. No, I say to my students all the time, I say this quite often. I say, being nervous about it just means that you care. I try to focus their minds that way, because if you didn't care about what you were doing or your performance that you're going to do, if you didn't care, then you might not feel those types of nervous kinds of emotions. Those things are going to be constant no matter who you are. I still feel them from time to time. It's less and less because I've been doing this for a very, very long time. So the way I felt as a younger musician, like nerves-wise or anxiety-wise, it's way easier the more you do it. For some people, for others, sometimes anxiety can just be a pretty difficult thing to face, and it might not improve. But for myself, it's been getting better as I've been playing. But it just means that you care. You care to want to do a good job, so you're going to have a little bit of that nervousness with you. That's a natural thing first. To piggyback on one thing that you said is the breathing. You can do a lot with starting to try to bring like your heart rate down a little bit through doing some breathing exercises and calming yourself in that way. Just by doing some simple breathing exercises that Al might recommend. I'm sure he has a video on it or something like that. But even just checking out, do you have like a good like breathing exercise thing in there?
Do I have good breathing exercise?
Yeah, like a clip or a video or anything.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Maybe in any of your
are you talking about in terms of nervousness or overall?
No. Just in normal regular breathing exercises.
Yeah. I've done some. Look, all of my routines. I cover every single aspect, and breathing is included. So every single routine, I've made numerous videos. At this point, I made probably double-digit videos that include breathing. It's look, when you're gonna be going on stage, your main goal is just to slow down your heart. Imagine this: you're not sprinting, you're not doing any laborious activities physically, but your heart rate is doing the same thing. You want to make sure you get a little bit of control, so whatever you're gonna be thinking that you're doing is going to be accelerated. Slow it down. The same thing with breathing. The most important thing is just making sure that that you don't get any excessive. And again, I don't want to get too much into technical stuff, because this is going to end up being one of those 20-minute answers.
Yeah, you stop right there, because I want to hop in and say my last two things. So the breathing is important. It can really help to slow heart rate down and make you a little bit more calm. The second thing is what helped me whenever I was younger, and still sometimes to this day, is listening to some music beforehand that speaks to you. You might have some music that pumps you up or makes you feel in a certain state of mind to try to get your mind off of the nerves. It might give you a sense of confidence. Or you might listen to a piece of music that's very beautiful and it has a calming effect on you. So try to find those pieces of music that speak to you and try to listen to that a little bit beforehand. Or if there's if there's a sort of a down period before you're about to do that, to where your mind is just active and you're thinking about negative things, listen to that music to stop those negative thoughts and appreciate the beauty or the confidence that you can find within the music. Like one piece of music that I would listen to back whenever I was younger was a song "Procession of the Nobles," and I would listen to that piece of music. It's a great piece of music, but it just
Is that how you would hype yourself up before you go to
yes,
the?
yeah, it just would give me that confidence through the piece of music and how it sounded. So that's one aspect. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is I would often have another person in my mind, either going into that performance or playing that piece of music or whatever. I try to have a person like, well, back in the day, it used to be my grandmother. My grandmother passed away before I really got into music and I really started to get good with music. So she never had the opportunity to hear the things that I did musically. So I would always sort of go in there almost as like a tribute to her. I was very close with her, and just say, hey, Grandma, I know you never had a chance to hear me play. Give me some strength and confidence. I'm going to do this performance for you. And just having that in the back of my mind, like, hey, try your best, calm down, do what you can, try to make Grandma, if she was here, proud. I do that often at times too for my mother. My mother is still alive, but she's another person that creeps into my mind because I want her to be proud of me and I don't want to let her down. And I sort of have that in the back of my mind to help drive me to sort of push the nerves aside and be like, listen, I'm either doing this for my mom or I'm doing this for Grandma. And then in you go and you do your performance.
Sounds like you add a lot of pressure. Oh my goodness.
No, it's not. It's not adding pressure. I don't feel like adding pressure at all. It's like I love these people and they were very important to my life. And I'm not going to let some nerves get in my way of representing myself well, and then in fact representing them indirectly.
Yeah. No, look, it's fair enough, and it's hard. It's a very broad question. Like, there's many things you can do. It's just it's hard to give like last minute technical things that you can be doing. Is just, look, if you prepared, you need to go on stage as much as possible. Just expect the worst thing that can happen to you is the element of surprise. If you're gonna go expecting that, hey, I'm gonna feel cool as a cucumber, and suddenly you start getting nervous, that's the worst one, element of surprise. But basically, look, expect that you're gonna be a little bit nervous, but nervous does not always mean that it's bad or it's not necessarily pleasant. It can be pleasant. It's just, look, I trust that you probably did your work practicing the piece. Just go make sure you mark in all those little things on piece of paper beforehand, so you did all the prep work, and just go and try and have as much joy playing as possible. Not everyone gets a chance to play music live or play solos at this point, so take that as an opportunity and as a privilege. Those would be some quick advices. Okay, let's go through some more questions. Just before,
can I dine, please?
Yeah, just a second.
I saw.
Did you see the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's my dilemma. Benjamin Fraser came in there first and said coconut fudge cookies, but that's not the official name. Maxwell actually said the official name, the Coconut Dream Cookies. So
okay.
Who do we give it to? Do we give it to the official name or the person who described sort of what they are first? What do we do?
Well, the person Q1 will be Maxwell. I didn't even know like
I gotta show it.
But I'm pretty sure
Coconut Dreams. Oh, where's the camera?
Yeah,
oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Coconut Dreams.
What's in that thing?
Yes.
What's in that thing?
Oh,
what's in that thing?
These things. It is like almost like a shortbread kind of cookie, and then it has fudge on the bottom and a fudge stripe on top, and it has some caramel or caramel, however you want to say it, and some coconut pieces. I hate coconut too, but man, I love these. I love these little buggers.
I love coconut. Either way, so the winner would be Maxwell, but I'm pretty sure Maxwell is one of the patrons. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but I'm like 99.9% sure that he has access to the book. So unless he texts in the chat that he has the book, the prize goes to him. Benjamin, for some reason, now I might be completely off on this one, but for some reason I remember him or that name winning in one of these Dining with Ding previously. But yeah, so I'll Maxwell. Maxwell has access to.
You need to let him hear something. Give him like a special preview of that one other song you wanted to do, like just him, just like a special individual Maxwell perk.
I'm gonna send him something. I'm gonna send Maxwell. Maxwell is giving a book to somebody else, but I'm gonna send. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can send something that the Patreon does not give access to. I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out for Maxwell as well. I'll put a reminder. I'll figure something. I might send like some sort of exclusive video from one of our rehearsals or something like that. That is not posted yet, but either way, Benjamin, let me see, coconut cookies, coconut fudge cookies. Okay, we'll send a book to Benjamin Fraser so somebody gets to the book. Benjamin, email me to euphonium.legends@gmail.com after the stream, and I'll send you the book. Again, it's euphonium.legends@gmail.com. Put Dining with Ding in a subject line. That would be very, very helpful. Okay, let's go to some more questions. French horn, baritone, leaves the red. Play more. Oh, okay. It's actually a pretty good question. Nathaniel is asking, as a high schooler, my embouchure is off. My euphonium leaves a red ring around my lips whenever I play for more than a few minutes. I'm a good player, but I'm a bit concerned. What should I do? Okay, so
me too.
Yeah, you'll get a little bit of ring. It's from pressure, and look, you're gonna have to. There's gonna be contact. A contact on your face between mouthpiece and pressure. But here, let me just give you a quick technical thing. I'm known for deep diving into technical things, so I'm going to give you a good technical thing. Look, in order for your lips to vibrate, your lips have to seal up. There's multiple ways you can seal up your lips, okay? You can seal up like that using your muscles. You can seal up like that using the mouthpiece pressure. See, I'm not using any muscles. I'm just putting pressure. I'm sealing the lips up. Okay? Now, this one clearly has a downside. It will cut off the blood flow. It will stop vibrating. Now, it will take away a lot of the workload from your facial muscles. Okay? So that's why a lot of beginner players end up naturally putting a little bit more access pressure than they would have to, just because it takes time to develop facial strength to support the lip seal, mainly through your muscles. But everyone ends up putting a certain level of pressure. Now, if you're having some serious marks, that's probably too much. My number one solution would be practice free buzzing as much as possible. Not only will allow you to understand how lips seal up through the contact between lip to lip, rather lip to mouthpiece rim, but also will strengthen your facial muscles. And the emphasis will be slightly different from instrument to instrument. So for example, whenever I play euphonium, the muscles that I feel, and this comes back to the firm corners thing, which I'm sure a lot of you felt or heard people say, but it varies from person to person. So on euphonium, I always say that the muscle that I feel a little bit more working is this. Just because we play with a little bit wider aperture. Now trumpeters tend to feel this a little bit more, like right here. Now whenever I play tuba, I normally feel this muscle a little bit more because I play with way wider aperture. So if I grab tuba mouthpiece, see how much more width in the aperture. So we're still using all the same facial muscles. It's just this exaggeration will vary a little bit. So you need to learn how to rely on those muscles. So a good reference point. This is the way I'm always approaching. What I'm feeling right here in this area is almost identical as if I was just blowing air. I'm not trying to seal up this. I'm trying to seal up that. Okay? And the problem that I have with people asking, show me, or is my embouchure looking right? Visual reference is a very, very, very poor way of doing this, because fixed corners is this. See, I'm engaging corners. Fixed corners is this also. This is fixed corners as well. Now clearly you could see that some of them would not work, because I'm the only person who knows how much tension is the correct amount of tension, okay? So you need to learn how to free buzz. Free buzz will give you a good tell, because there will be a second signal. Not only you'll be able to feel tension, but you'll be able to hear on listening. If the free buzz sounds airy and weak and shaky, that probably means there's facial strength that needs to be improved, or maybe technical areas. But basically, I'm trying to steer away from this as possible. This. Most of the work is being done here. Okay, so again, it will help you with taking away some of that pressure, being able to control and seal your lips through your musculature rather than through your rim. So it's not necessarily something subnormal and something you should be worried about. It'll go away throughout the years. The more you practice, it'll go away. Just make sure you practice strengthening your face. Practice free buzz. Free buzz numero uno. Best exercise. Mike.
Yeah, just a quick practical thing to mention. If you feel like you're relying a little bit too much with the pressure of the mouthpiece against your lips, and it's causing pain or discomfort, or the symptoms that you're sort of describing, just easily, I'm not going to say as much as what you did, but trying to relieve and remove some of that pressure from your lip. Try to ease up a little bit off and not force it too much. You'll start to notice that if you have so much pressure, the mouthpiece on the lips, you're going to be familiar with how much ever you put there at first. And if you're saying that it's too much for you, then try just backing off the pressure that you're placing from holding the instrument and pushing it against your face. Try to back off just a tiny fraction of a little bit of pressure, and see if your tone quality is still okay, and you're able to get certain pitches that you're trying to get and things like that, and see if that feels a little bit better. And then just keep testing that, like maybe move it away. I say moving it away, meaning not putting as much pressure, maybe moving the mouthpiece away just a little bit more, and see if it affects your tone quality in a certain way. Eventually it'll affect your tone quality in a very negative way. If you move the instrument away too far and the pressure isn't there, but you have to sort of find the sweet spot to where you're still able to get your sounds out, the pressure isn't as much, but when you start to move that away, and if your sound is still sounding pretty good, you'll start to engage those muscles that Al was mentioning a little bit right there, and you'll rely more on the muscles instead of really pushing the instrument to your face. That's just one little thing that you can try as you're doing your practicing and you're playing.
Yeah, and look, this is one of the methods, but it's been used, what you're saying, by many players, and many players successfully. It's been used successfully. There's one reason why I'm particularly don't find this type of practice efficient, is because the reality look, you're somebody who's been playing for so many years, decades upon decades of playing. Same with me. And your understanding of what is right and what is wrong is completely different. Most people, at least beginners, they have no good perception of. You could tell them, take away a little bit of pressure, but that doesn't tell them whether that's right or not. That comes through experience. Now, free buzzing is the exercise that I recommend, is because there's no lying in that exercise. You literally eliminate a factor of rim, so you learn how to create sound. What's an efficient ergonomics of just of creating a buzz. So that's the exercise I always recommend.
And you're absolutely right. There's just some players that just put way too much physical pressure against their face. Even sometimes I'll slip myself, like especially when I start to get really tired and I'm not really focusing and concentrating on that part of it. I'll find myself putting a little bit too much pressure than I should, and I'm like, oh, I need to back off a little bit. Or like, hey, if I have to make it through a 6-hour long rehearsal or a recording session, I got to make sure that I'm not doing those types of things or getting into those bad playing habits, like using too much pressure against my face, because it's hard to recover.
Yeah. So again, it will come with time, but again, promise you 10 times out of 10 times, free buzzing. Now, free buzzing will be a little bit annoying, and just learning how to do that properly, it's hard to give a very generalized advice because it takes a little bit of time. Normally, I drill that through weeks and weeks with my students, but it's super effective and something that everyone should be practicing. Jackson is asking how to download all the sheet music from Patreon once you subscribe. Everything is attached to posts. So all the sheet music is attached to posts. Each time you subscribe, you go to the post or you go to a timeline, and you'll find the sheet music, the backing tracks, whatever is being attached. What I took out from the Patreon is the posts that do not contain downloadables. So you see all the content that I upload on YouTube, but the stuff that contains downloadables, you'll find that on the post. So that's how you download it. Let me know if that makes sense, and in case you're struggling to find the sheet music that you're looking for. That's Jackson who's asking. So I don't know whether that's a Patreon, existing Patreon, but just wanted to clarify that. Let's look at some more questions. Evan is asking, have you gotten COVID, Matonizz? No, I have not. But at least not that I'm aware of. Not, fingers crossed, not yet. I know some people who did though, so, but not yet. My lifestyle is not very, if I go out, it's usually I go to Mike's place or we go out. I don't go out often, basically, what I was about to say. And when I go out, it's usually same group of people. I don't have a very wide circle of people that I go out. And other than that, I just exercise, take vitamin D, vitamin B12, calcium, magnesium, healthy diet as much as possible to make sure my immune system is always up. But neither of us got the COVID. Fortunately.
Disclaimer: we're not medical professionals. That may or may not help you. Don't.
Oh, come on. We're not saying just that's a general thing. Just drink your vitamins, take vitamin D, B12, eat healthy. You don't need to be a medical doctor to suggest people to.
We're not medical professionals. My family was ravaged by the virus.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're okay. Thankfully, they're okay now. I'm like one of the only people in my family that hasn't had it yet. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and just trying to stay safe with things. Vaccine isn't available yet for my group here in the state, but I'm hoping to get that and dodge this bullet.
Yeah. Maxwell was asking, what do you think about what do you think of the Emerald Isle? I would assume we're talking about the piece. Maxwell, can you clarify? Are you talking about the piece that we play, or is there a movie Emerald Owl? Are you aware of the movie Emerald Owl? Mike.
I'm not, but if it's the piece of music for brass band, how do I feel about it? The beginning of it is okay, but
It's okay.
Is that the one where it's like
Yeah, with the tuba solo. Yeah.
That one, that's tough.
Yeah, yeah.
And when it gets to that part, the beginning
Yeah.
that's fine. That's like, oh, great. But then whenever you get it's
Yeah.
just like, ah.
Yeah. So, you know what? Sometimes in brass bands, they write these things where they split between two players to make it easier on one player. So we have the section where it's triple tongued, where it goes and then Mike plays and we kind of share those between me and you. I personally find it easier if I just have to go just do the whole thing, because now I need to time it, because the idea is to make it sound like one person. I find it easier just to play, although that's not what we did. We did and whatever comes after that.
Hey man, if you want to take that whole lick, go ahead, man. I'll just sit out.
Talking about Emerald Isle, we're gonna be recording that. I'm pretty sure we're recording that on March, because we're recording Celtic Series. Man, is that series hard. And it
is so hard.
It's very high, very fast, all the time. It is very, very high, very, very fast, a lot of triplets, all the time, every time. So 6 hours of recording session. That is the only time. So we're recording in a slightly reduced ensemble right now, just because you cannot put 28 people. We cannot put the full 28 people on the stage. And I never ask these things normally, because I don't find it's like appropriate to do that, because normally the conductor assigns whichever chairs he needs in the ensemble. That was the only time where I asked him, hey, is there any chance you can put a second euphonium there, because it's going to be hard to do that for 6 hours. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second euphonium. I'm just not exactly sure whether it's I'm pretty positive you're going to be in the recording session. So but it's a challenging piece. It's it gets a little fast, at least the way we play it, but it's fun. It's good fun. Once you learn it and you get the groove, it becomes easier. It's just sometimes I don't find that particular. I don't find that the hardest part. You know, that little bit where we have our little, and then you have these little, and we have to swap between those. The hardest part is sometimes it's hard hearing that melody and the timing of that for those triplets. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know the bit I'm talking about? So it's not necessarily what looks the most obvious, those fast passages, but there's a couple of places where it's just hard to time. You have to really listen just to make sure you stay in time.
Everyone has to understand too. Like whenever we play these pieces, these Irish pieces, you know, they're jigs and reels and hornpipes and things like that style of music, where a lot of those some of those instruments, when they're playing those reels and jigs, you know, they're on like the fiddle or the violin, and you don't have to breathe, or it's on like instruments that are similar to what the accordion is. I can't remember the exact name. It's escaping me right now. It's like the smaller, it's like a smaller accordion, and it's like those people don't have to breathe, and their fingers are flying, and they're playing the fiddle, and their fingers are flying, and that's tricky to do, but our fingers have to fly and we have to breathe. So, and play these passages that are just like relentless. So it's hard. It's a really hard music for wind players.
Maxwell, send me a message after the stream with with a subtitle, with a subject line, Emerald Isle. I know I'm gonna work this out with you. So send me an email after the stream with a subject line Emerald Isle, and I've got something for you. So, but either way, Drew is hopping in. That's hilarious. Matonizz found the one mouthpiece in a cave, one mouthpiece to rule them all. How do you get so good? He was asking, where was that? Caleb Rodriguez, how do you get so good? So there's a funny...
Practice.
Yeah, so there's a funny answer to that and a real answer to that. So outside of practice, look, here's going to be the best advice for getting good. Do that for practice, not like how much you practice, but play and practice and play euphonium or whatever you play for many, many, many years. Stick with it for as long. I promise you, pinky swear, you're gonna get very, very good at anything if you do it for 20 years straight. Whether you practice 3 hours a day or you practice 1.5 hours a day. Do that for 20 years, for 10 years. It's all about consistency throughout the time. So you'll get good. It's a matter of time. Some people get good a little bit earlier. Ignore. It's irrelevant. Doesn't mean anything. It only matters in your personal journey. Stick with this for all the players who pulled it off and became professional players, who got the jobs, or who got good, very good eventually. Share one thing in common. Never stop playing. Never stop. It gets tricky when you go study and you're busy, when you have to find job, it gets busy. One thing they all share in common, they never stop practicing, whether it was 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 5 hours a day, whatever it is. Eventually you'll make it. You just need to keep on drilling, keep on practicing, and you'll get good. It's one of those things. It's not a skill you learn overnight. It's all about consistency. So stay patient. The best way to stick to this is just learn how to enjoy the journey. Take that as a learning experience. Rather, don't have it's good to have some sort of a short-term timelines in terms of I'm going to learn that piece by the end of this year. But overall, go at getting good. Look, you first of all, if you have a mentality of getting good, you'll never get as good as you want to get, because the better you get, it's still not enough. So, but stick for as long as possible. Maxwell, send that to euphonium.legends@gmail.com. I'll put a reminder. I'll try and send it to you because I've got your email. Or send me a message on Patreon. Either one of those. Message on Patreon or email euphonium.legends@gmail.com. Okay, let's look at a couple more questions and we're going to wrap this up soon. I appreciate everyone who joined in. It's always fun to chat. I feel like I'm pretty happy. We're starting to establish like a core audience, same people showing up, which is just quite nice. Hopefully this will expand a little bit more, but I'm always having fun talking with you, answering some of the questions. So please submit your questions. We're going to try and answer always as many as yeah, go ahead.
I always enjoy the snacks too.
That's about the only thing you enjoy, snacks. Okay, let me see if I see any more questions. Do you have any advice for players trying to master euphonium excerpts? Outside the obvious of practice, drill, figure out details, listen. Recordings, look, the hard part for you know what's the hard part when I find new pieces is making my own interpretation. If I get a new commission, if I play an arrangement or a piece that has never been played on euphonium or not been played at all, that's very hard. Finding how to interpret that piece, which interpretation do you like? With excerpts and for all the band stuff, you're gonna find many examples on YouTube nowadays, etc. Listen as much as possible. You'll get a lot of ideas for stylistic references. Maybe you'll find some stylistic stuff that you like from one recording and some from the other, and you'll combine and make your own version. But listen as much as possible outside of just drilling. Mike.
I saw a question in there that that I love, and it's what is your favorite Metallica song?
Where
I
is it? Where is it?
love Metallica. Metallica is probably my favorite rock band.
It's not
They
rock band. You already failed at this. It's a metal band. What are you saying? It's not a rock band. Come on. It's a thrash metal band. Left you speechless there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let everyone just listen to what he just said. I'm not even gonna respond back to him. What do you think heavy metal and stuff like that is based off of style of music? It's a style of rock. It's a style of rock and roll. It's like a subcategory of rock. But anyway, Metallica, I love. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. I love Metallica. One is awesome. Master of Puppets. Enter Sandman is just everyone likes.
How come I didn't? I never knew.
Fuel. I love Fuel. That's a great one too. There's just so many. There's so.
Where was
many
that question?
great
Where was that
Metallica
question?
songs. It was down towards the. I don't know, maybe down towards
Spectral.
the bottom.
What is your favorite Metallica? Oh,
or wait, is that
Spectral Matter.
Spectral Matter. That's
that.
Yeah.
I did not know that you liked Metallica.
I saw them in concert once. It was I had to go down to Baltimore. I went with my brother. I live in Pittsburgh, but they were touring, and I had a chance to see them in Baltimore. It was like one of the best concerts I have seen. It was like during like their prime too. Like the guys are still great. They're older now though, but it was back like in their prime, and it was
how
awesome.
Did I not know that you like Metallica? Did I ever tell you it's
been my favorite for a long time.
I went to their concert live in Estonia when I lived in Lithuania, and they went to Lithuania as well once. I've seen them live as well. Do you know euphonium? Guess where that's coming from? That's a reference. My favorite song, my favorite album, Black Album, of course. That's the best. That's what I've been listening. Do you know the piece? I've got so many pieces that I like. Do you know Hero of the Day? That's not the most popular piece.
Yeah, it's not a common one.
Yeah, but I like that a lot. Hero of the Day from their traditional stuff. I like Batteries a little bit. It's one of the more popular pieces, but it's not like as mainstream as Master of Puppets. Maybe I should grab a guitar and play Master of Puppets. That'll be hilarious. I can play that. I'm not joking. I can play Nothing Else Matters. I just don't have it plugged in, but I could. Maybe I should pull it up. Whatever. You know what? Spectral Matter. If you come into next stream, I'll play Master of Puppets on guitar and Enter the Sandman on guitar and Nothing Else Matter on guitar. Or Fade to Black. I can actually play all of them. but yeah, it's I used to listen to them a lot.
Unforgiven, that's a good one.
Which one? First or second?
The first
nerdy. One. We're getting nerdy here.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Metal, Ellen is saying metal music came when an guitar amp got wet and created a special sound. I'm curious whether that's a joke or whether that's.
How could you not know that heavy metal and hard rock is rock?
No, wow. It's not the same thing. It's not it's like saying you look. Then according to your analogy, then heavy metal is classical music. Because everything comes from like a classical music, then it originated to multiple genres, and you can go down that. No, you're not right. It's very different to rock. Metal is not the same as rock, and especially their style. They're not the first one. They're not the first ones who started popularizing thrash metal, but they're the most popular one that kind of turned it mainstream. Guitar, that would be first to see Matonizz live. Yeah. You know what? I'll play that. I'll play guitar next time maybe. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. But otherwise, we've been running this for over an hour, so we're gonna wrap it up. Metallica. I did not know you were a fan of Metallica. Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You like Guns N' Roses?
I like Guns N' Roses too. Yeah.
Is it? I did not know. I thought you were like more of a Procession of Nobles type of.
No. There's so many
because
different
you know
styles
what
of
you know what
music.
when you say about hyping yourself up before a concert, I would probably put some Metallica.
I get into like weird different like music styles. Like I say, I always try to appreciate like different ones. Recently, I have been like I didn't know too much about this, and I've been listening more and investigating. Man, there's some great K-pop stuff. If you haven't listened to K-pop, man, you need to listen to some of that. There's some good stuff in that K-pop stuff. I don't know if anyone's listening or watching from Korea, but you got some good pop stuff out there. It's cool.
No, I used to like metal, hard rock. That's a little bit closer to my type of playlist on the player. But either way, okay, let me have a look at a few more questions if we have any, and otherwise we're gonna wrap up. Thanks again to everyone who joined in. Always a lot of fun. We're gonna do some more of these live streams. Maybe not next week, but definitely a week after, or maybe next week. My top 3 songs are Outlaw, Torn, Fade to Black, and Fuel. Not yeah. Creeping Death. That's pretty good. Sounds a little bit weird when I say it. So, either way, with that in mind, we're gonna wrap this up. Any last words that you'd like to say, Mike? Okay, fair enough. Thanks to everyone who joined in. Have a good rest of the week, and keep an eye for that Best Days release.
Wait. I do have a word. I do have a final word.
Oh, come on.
Hello, Brazil. I forgot. It was all the way at the end. Hello, Brazil. If anyone's watching from Brazil, you know I love you.
Much love to Brazil. And I saw somebody from Poland as well saying Poland and France. So shout out to Poland and France. Either way, have a good rest of the week, everyone. Don't fight. Stay away from social media. Makes everyone angry. Do less social media except for my channel. As much of that. All music and all fun stuff. All hilarious and funny stuff. So other than that, have a good rest of the week. Don't get sick. Stay well. And we'll see you very soon with more uploads.